Hi, I'm Violet Valentine. I'm doing 2007 style video blogs in the style of that time because I'm trapped in the past. I remember when video blogs you could just talk about stuff. Do you remember that? Do you remember 2007 when YouTube was cool? Unlike now, when they just recommend me the same vaporwave mixes and speed runs. I like them okay, but you have 20 years of data on me now. How much vaporwave do you think I really want in my life? None's the actual answer. But keep recommending it to me. We'll see. Maybe I'll click it by accident one day. Huge win for the algorithm. Anyway, I was gonna go to bed. I just did my People's Joker bad audio review. Spoiler, I loved it. I feel like I forgot to say a lot of things in that review, but like whatever. It's 4 minutes. I'm talking about it. My friend Candy, one of my good friends from my Twitter Spaces. If you haven't been in my Twitter Spaces, hang out. It's just like this, but you get to talk back at me, just like a Discord call. It's like a Discord call. If you don't know Twitter Spaces, I've made more friends there in the last couple of years, the last year than I don't know. I've found this incredible community in Twitter Spaces of all places. But my friend Candy asked me to talk about the impact Chinese movies, specifically romance movies, have had on my life, and that was such a fun question. I decided not to go to bed. When I was in college, I'll never forget. I went in one of my roommate's bedrooms and I went through his DVD rack and I recognized every DVD on it but one. I was like, "What's Fallen Angels?" Then I watched it and it blew my fucking mind and I got absolutely obsessed. The movie I just made, it's been 3 years, like heavily influenced by that. When I made my movie, I often say there's never been a movie like it, but if you do nothing but watch like mid-90's Hong Kong romance movies, there are very many movies like it, I think. I like to believe. It was a great starting place for me because they made movies in a different way. Like in 1995, in Hong Kong, it was 1 year away from mainland China taking back control of Hong Kong. After 100 years, been under British control, they were terrified that mainland China was going to come and destroy their culture and, communism would take away the lives they had. And there was no certainty and they were freaking out. And that reminds me so much of living now. Like, I live in hell and we're always one election away from it being even worse. It always feels like next week Trump is going to come and murder everyone. And you know what? He has murdered a lot of people. And so has Joe Brandon. Not to get political, but I am the target of a major genocide. No big deal. Why would you genocide me? Why do you gotta go and genocide this? These cute glasses, which are only an intro concept. Stop genociding me, bro. But I think but like it created these films that were just like so imbued with the terror of living and like the nihilism of the end times and like the romance you feel smoking cigarettes and like not knowing if you're gonna live tomorrow, which is very much my life. Not to get all dark, but I feel like, a lot of my friends are kind of on the edge with all the genocide. So, although that's not what attracted to me them personally, or maybe it always was. Maybe in my heart I always knew. I don't know. I think it might have been the cinematography though. They were always shot handheld. They were shot with your friends. They were very DIY. They were very alive. If you haven't seen, Fallen Angels is like, if you haven't seen one, see Fallen Angels. If you haven't seen Fallen Angels, see Chungking. After that, to be honest, I feel, Happy Together. If you like faggots, it is the ultimate faggot movie. It was the first movie I saw with queer people in it, to be honest. I think Happy Together, the first one that like really spoke to me. Like, I don't really like gay men. I like them fine. I don't like gay men the way lesbians and gay men have always had that relationship. I think they should be allowed to vote. I'm not... Shots fired. But they are men and I am a lesbian, so I don't have a lot in common with any men, gay or straight. But I saw Happy Together and it was such a perfect film. I'd never seen a relationship like that. I've never seen anything like it. I'd never seen a gay movie, especially a sad, beautiful gay movie. And the DNA of that movie is also very much in my film. There's one or two scenes that the true Happy Together heads will be shouting out. Spoilers for my own film. But if Wong Kar-wai, those are the three ones. Happy Together, Fallen Angels, Chungking. A lot of people like In the Mood for Love. I like In the Mood for Love, but it's definitely the fourth one on the list. It's everybody else's favorite. God bless you. Like whatever you want. But if you wanted to get into other ones after that, anything Chris Doyle did cinematography on, Made in Hong Kong, email me if you want. I could just rattle off a list of names. Eric Cott, like the fucking unsung hero. I don't care that everyone in the world hates him except me. I fucking First Love, The Litter on the Breeze, not to mention Dragon Heat. And you know what? I watched Big Fan too. Was it called Big Fan? It was the one about his last movie, which was cute. It was no First Love. Anyway, you get me started. But what I loved about them was they had this energy and they had this personality and they had like a music, like a 90s MTV, not in a bad way, energy to them. They just felt alive. And I've always wanted to make a movie like that. I've always wanted to make a movie that makes you feel that way. But it's more experiential and more feels like you're alive. And yeah, like and also he made up his movies as he went along. He would shoot something. He would start with an image. His movies are images. In America, we start with scripts and conversations and plots. But he did nothing like that. He would say what represents loneliness. And he would sit with his DP. They would definitely drink alcohol. Christopher Nolan's a proud alcoholic. And I have heard from a good source that he is a gigantic cocaine head. Although you're not allowed to say that. Like in China, it's very taboo. But I imagine they at least drank alcohol. They sat around and said, what is loneliness? How do we visually represent that? And after a lot of talking, they thought the image of like industrial bridges. When you're like in a city and your car breaks down, you got to walk across a bridge and it's raining. It's the most miserable, lonely human experience there is. That was their thought. So when you watch Happy Together, there's so many scenes. They're breaking up on a bridge. They're on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere. And they start with these images, and like that's such a powerful image of people like two young, beautiful people in like absolute pain on a bridge screaming at each other. And that's your first scene, and they shoot that, and then they say, okay, what happens next? You know, he spent a year making. I wish I could sit around for a year and just when I had an idea, shoot it. Although like we live in a time with cell phones and like people who work on the weekends. Maybe we do live in that time. Maybe we could make I'd love to make a Happy Together style movie, but I would need a DP who was on the same page. And I've never found that DP. Most DPs want to work for money. God bless them. I get it. Maybe one day someone will fund that, but I don't know who would. That's like, I don't even know if I'd be able to ask that. If I could say, hey, can you give me money to think of ideas? They'd be like, well, why do you think of ideas first? Then I give you the money. I think that's how an American would go. But Wong fucking landed the dream job of having someone like fund his imagination games for as long as he wants. And then he would start with a beautiful image, and then they would think about it, and they'd go like, what's another beautiful image, and what connects those? And there's very little dialogue, and then they shoot it all, and then in post he comes up with voiceover, and he does like amazing little poems about loneliness. So you see like people just like driving on a motorcycle through a tunnel, just like smoking cigarettes, like ready to die, but like feeling alive. And then you just hear like a little poem about, you know, that moment. Just like, I feel alone, but, you know, at this moment I feel alive. The end. Simple poem. 3 or 4 lines. Haiku. A lot of people, something I've heard that's very interesting is a lot of people say his movies play better to non-Cantonese speaking audiences because a lot of his cute little poems, when you hear them read and you see them written, that's like you kind of give, when you read things that are translated, you give them the benefit of the doubt. It is English language movie of My Blueberry Nights. I couldn't watch it because it was so corny. Like the dialogue was just simply very bad. I'll say it. I think everyone hates that movie except one person I met. God bless you, Ashley. Ashley Rose, beautiful name. I love flowers. But what was I saying? Yeah, by Blueberry Nights. But I think it's very fascinating that like hearing like a beautiful. Also, Chinese is such a beautiful language, especially when spoken by like a sleepy, beautiful woman. It's so beautiful. You have this like sleepy Chinese like reading these very lonely moments, and then you read them and it's a great, and like with just images that are beautiful. It's an interesting way to take in a movie versus what I experienced in the American cut, which is just like kind of a corny voiceover. A lot of native Cantonese speakers find his dialogue to be extremely cringe, from what I understand. Keeping up on Chinese movies is its own thing. The way I got into Chinese movies in the 90s or 2000s, it was around 9/11. Probably after 9/11. I don't know. I definitely, probably let's say on 9/11. The day we lost our innocence. That beautiful day. Around then was when I was into it. And I would find an actor in a movie. I can't believe I did it this way. I would find an actor in a movie. I would go on IMDb. I would say, Tony Leung was in this movie. And then I would go to yesasia.com. It was before YouTube had trailers. And I would just buy the cheapest DVDs with all those actors in them. And you know, like 5 out of 6 of them would be bad. And I was not rich. I was just starting to play poker then. I'd have my like internet poker $100 or my Pizza Hut money or whatever shitty job I had when I was like 20 years old, and or whatever. And I would watch all of them, and then one of them would be good. You know, you'd find one, you'd be like Eagle Shooting Hero, or like The Odd One Dies. These amazing translated titles. The Odd One Dies is like the best translation of a title. Attack the Gas Station. That's Korean, but like cool name. And you know, you'd find one that was like the one. You're like, holy shit, Hero. Like before Hero made it to America, I found Hero just randomly because Christopher Doyle did cinematography. Also, every movie Christopher Doyle did, I owned 35 movies by Christopher Doyle, and every single one of them was worth seeing. And some of them, this is one, Motel Cactus. The entire movie took place in a Japanese love hotel. No words. There's one entire scene, it's just like this hot Japanese couple getting fucking wasted and like trashing a hotel room. It's like 20 minutes long, and it's fun as hell. Like, it's so beautiful. He shoots it all handheld. There's all these just like, if you want to explore, and also I don't know anyone who's ever been into these movies except me. There's people who like Wong Kar-wai. Sometimes you're lucky if they've seen, why am I spacing out his name? The guy who did Made in Hong Kong. It's embarrassing. Made in Hong... Fruit Chan, of course. Then check out some Fruit Chan movies if you can handle them. But I've never met anyone who knew these movies at all, except my friends in college who I made watch them. And my one guy I used to know named Pete, who was a Cantonese film stuntman. He runs like a stuntman crew, and he did music videos, and he was a filmmaker. And he was the only person I could be like, oh my God, you love Eric Khan? He'd be like, no. And I hate it. Apparently Eric Khan is like the Jim Carrey of, I've mentioned this in previous video blogs. Eric Khan is like the Jim Carrey of Chinese movie unfavorable. He can be very big and silly. But it was funny to have him, like, I finally meet someone who likes Eric Khan. He's like, don't like Eric Khan. It's not cool. Like, it's cool. But then it was really frustrating because he was really into like kung fu because he's a stuntman, and he'd give me like a stack of DVDs and be like, these are the good ones. And, like I watched like 20 minutes of each one and be like, I like two gay men crying for 2 hours. Like, it doesn't mean I like punching. Like, it was, you know, God bless him for like caring enough to like lend me his DVDs and like having a passion and a compadre. But at the end of the day, I do not like 90s Hong Kong action movies at all, and I love, you know, gay dudes crying. That's what I like. Anyway, I could go on forever, and it's probably boring. Like, it is a little very niche. But if you're ever looking for a niche to explore, like 90s Hong Kong, Wong Kar-wai, Fruit Chan, start there. If you need more, anything Christopher Doyle DP'd from that era, anything like Last Life in the Universe is like, there's no movie like it. Like Three Extremes with Leon Lei from Fallen Angels, and like this like horror movie, like weird short. I think it's Takashi Miike. Takashi Miike did one, and it was like it was 3 filmed by 3 different filmmakers. And Takashi Miike did one, which was gross, go figure, Miike. But then there's this amazing one with Leon Lei from Fallen Angels, who's not done a lot. Apparently, any review I ever read, people hate him. I think he's one of the greats. Like, his role in Fallen Angels is like, just the perfect film. Anyway, yeah, and they've changed my life. I feel like they gave me like a concept of film that like it's so alive. Anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble about Hong Kong romance movies from the 90s. Kandy, shout out. Riley, if you see this, I hope there's no hard feelings. Honestly, like, you know, like, I care about you. I'm sorry we had bumps, but I think it's better. There were more YouTube friends. And I hope, if you ever need me, I'm around, but like, probably let's just call it with respect and love. Yeah, I hope that was okay that I said that. Maybe I'll delete this. Whatever, like, nobody knows who I'm talking to. One of my YouTube friends. I love you guys, and shout out, big ups. Big ups. Big ups. Oh yeah, and Zero's the shit. Fucking Ghetto Gospel. If you've not heard that, Almost Famous, the jam. The jam. That and Still Tippin' featuring Bun B. I believe Paul Wall. Is it Paul Wall or Bun B? Whatever. It's Paul. I think it's Paul Wall. It is like the G-Funk era is back. Zero never left it. He's the greatest. If you don't know Zero too, this is a tangent. Never mind. Zero's like Tupac and Biggie if you're from the South. Big up.